Mm. Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Board. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here on this Monday morning edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. Things happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning, so you want to be up to speed with all that is America's team as we sit some 171 days, 11 hours, 37 minutes, and 40 seconds away from kickoff of the 2019 season. Now, we've got the first week of free agency in the book, and we're now on to the second week. And there's a lot of Cowboy fans that have been pissed off, mad as hell, and just going off on the Joneses because they said, you know what, we're not trying to get better. We're not out there getting these guys that'll make a difference on our team. They're not spending money. They are absolutely positively cheap. You see what the Raiders are doing. They're making moves for Antonio Brown. You look at the Jets, they're going through and they're getting Le'Veon Bell. Redskins, they're getting a safety and Landon Collins. The Eagles, they're out getting players left and right. And what are we doing? Next to nothing. And how can we build a team if we're not doing those things? What is wrong with Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones? Did they spend too much money on the boat? That's the thought of a lot of fans. But here's some interesting statistics that maybe make you feel a little bit better. Because of the lightest spending teams, the teams that have spent the least this year in free agency, 5 of the 6 least spenders, 5 of the 6 bottom least spending teams were all playoff teams last year, including our Cowboys. 2 of the 3 lightest spending teams so far in free agency, they were in the Super Bowl. New England and the Rams. They're not spending any money right now. And 10 of the 12 bottom spenders were part of the bottom 14 the year before. And the only 2 that weren't playoff teams this year were Atlanta and Carolina, 2 teams that went to the Super Bowl recently. And so as you start looking at that, and you start looking at things like this, you start looking at dead money. The Giants from 2018 and 2019 have $76.9 million in dead money. That is 40% of their cap. 40% of their cap money will go to players that are no longer on the team. And as you start looking through there, at the amount of dead money that you see in there, most of those teams are teams that aren't very good. They overspent. You'll remember the Giants had that $250 million defense just a few years ago that played really well for one season. But most of that defense is gone. And behind is that dead money. And the Cowboys have realized that you can't go crazy in free agency anymore. That it's buyer beware. Understand, think about this. The average life expectancy of an NFL player is 3-point-some odd years. Most of these guys don't hit free agency till 5. So they've already outlived the average football player, usually on the downside of their career. And a free agent is going to cost you a hell of a lot more than a rookie. Your rookie class can be signed for one big name free agent and still have money left over. And that's why it's important to draft well, to use the draft to build the team, not through free agency. And Stephen Jones realizes this. And that's another one of the reasons why, as I always put it, that we have good cop, bad cop. Jerry's the dreamer. Jerry's the one that says, go out and get Earl Thomas, man. Go out there and get AP. T.O., I want T.O. on my team. He's the one that goes ahead and just is the freewheeler. Stephen Jones is the one that's more realistic. It's like, you can't do that, because when you get those guys, you are messing up the balance of what you're going to be able to do with the rest of the team. And as he put it, Stephen Jones, sorry, I lost my spot here. The Cowboys don't make splashy moves. Of course, we signed Christian Covington, of course, to a one-year deal. But as Stephen Jones put it, we have to get creative on signing our own guys. We have a lot of players that are very important to our team that we need to have signed. From DeMarcus Lawrence to quarterback Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, Jalen Smith, and other guys. He said, you couldn't ask for a better problem to have to try and keep all your guys than having a lot of players that you want to re-sign. But it's a problem to get those deals done, and it's one that the team knows it's going to have to address in the near future. Where it all starts to be a logjam is when you look, we've never paid our linebackers a lot of money. We got two now. I think rare ones in Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch. That's where there'll be a logjam. When you figure out how to pay pass rushers, the corners, the receiver, the quarterback, the running back, across the board, the offensive line, and you try to pay a couple of linebackers, that's when you have to start getting super creative. And if you go out and do a deal right now that's not efficient, you're starting to take some creative money away from hopefully going to keep, to help you keep Jalen. Hopefully you can keep both corners. We'll just have to see what we can do. Lawrence got the second franchise tag, of course, as we know, and that's one of those places that they could get some more money. But that's the truth. So the question is, when you know that you've got a quarterback, Dak Prescott, some of you will argue if we have a quarterback or not, but I say we have a quarterback. I say that's better than, say, a Ryan Tannehill or Ryan Fitzpatrick or Matt Castle or Joe Flacco. It's a young guy that stays healthy, that wins, that has it. You got to pay it. Amari Cooper, you paid $16 million a year for Dez Bryant on the tail end of his career. Amari Cooper's 24, and he's already proven himself. You got to pay that guy. Zeke Elliott, 2 out of 3 years NFL rushing champ, doesn't seem to be slowing down. Would have been a third had he not been suspended by the NFL. You got to pay that guy. Byron Jones, all of a sudden with Chris Richard as a head coach, has become, and for a while was the #1 cornerback, but finished in the top 5 rated in the NFL. Got to pay that guy. And he's right. Right now, you may have the best combination of linebackers that only have 3 years of experience under their belt. Now, the good thing is you got a little time before you got to pay Vander Esch. You got a little time before you have to play Jalen Smith, but at some point, you're going to have to pay those guys. And, of course, the elephant in the room is DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence, some people say don't pay that guy, but you're talking about a guy who's tied for first in tackles for loss. You're talking about a guy who's second in the NFL in quarterback pressures. Those guys are a rare breed, and he has done it 2 years in a row. You got to pay that guy. So as we start to look at this, and you see the moves that the Cowboys have made so far, they're trying to plug as many holes as they can, as efficiently as they can. But if you go ahead and sign a guy $10, $12 million as a free agent and basically rent him for 2 years, now you're talking about taking $25 million and tying up, which could be used. Could be used on players that you know can play. And this year, it's kind of a buyer's beware. It seems like a lot of the guys that are going around the league this year, you've got to have some questions about. You can't question Antonio Brown's ability, but you got to wonder, how is the attitude going to be along with the money? Same thing with Le'Veon Bell. You've seen what they've done to Pittsburgh. When you look at like Tyreek Hill, of course, who's got his issues, going to be suspended for 8 games. You look at Earl Thomas, who's had an injury background. You look at Eric Berry, who, same thing, has only played 3 games over the last 2 seasons. It's kind of like, it could be great, but it could also blow up in your face. So you may be better off keeping the guys that you know what injuries they have, you know what they work well with, and go ahead and try and take some lower risk guys in there that won't bust the bank and prevent you from keeping players that are key to your system. And when you start looking at where the good teams aren't out there blowing a wad of money on players. Facts bear it out. So we as fans, we just want to see the big play. But the reality is, you can't spend $76 million in dead money. It'll kill you. So that being said, it's time for me to get up to my day job. I got cabinets to get built and delivered. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. We'll see you soon.